Right, so I've been really looking forward to this bit because we really do have a fantastic, inspirational, very successful scale-up entrepreneur, multi-investment angel, global success story, and many things. And I don't want to talk him up too much and put some pressure on him, but Amit, I'd like you to invite you now to the meeting. And I'd love you to start off with a few questions I have for you, so we can help share your fantastic best practices, insights and experiences from all the success you've achieved, and also the hardship that you've amazingly overcome as well. You know, someone else who has pivoted and learnt and grown through sometimes failures as well. So Amit, tell us please, to start with, how did it all begin for you? What's your story from a young boy to where you are right now?
So Daryl, thank you very much for having me here. It's wonderful to be here, look at and hear so many inspiring personalities and people in on this group. Lovely to have heard all of them, especially now that, you know, we're trying to enter into the UK market with our services and our products. It was lovely to hear the experiences that people have shared in this group and the way you guys are doing this entire networking effort to get all of these businesses together to kind of support and collaborate. I heard a new word, collaboration junkie. I'm going to use that a little more frequently now, and how things work. But just to answer and to respond to your question, I started this, business about 22 years ago. So, which is into the area of digital marketing and digital first thinking. So very quickly to give you a background, my name is Amit Tripathi. I've been a first generation entrepreneur. I started my business straight out of my management degree in finance. So I'm educated in mathematics. I did my majors in finance, and I'm running an advertising and a marketing business. So my background of education has no correlation with what I do today, but that is one of the primary foundations and reasons why I am what I am and where I am. Very simply put, when I started 22 years ago, way back in 1997, 98, there wasn't anything called as digital marketing in India, or probably anywhere else in the world either, except for the Americas and maybe some bits in London that this existed. In India, the internet connectivity was limited to, a select few. Either you had to be a student to be logging in onto the Linux prompt and chatting up onto the internet relay chats, which was IRC, or if you had a student connection, you would be, or a graphic GUI connection, as we called it, you would be browsing at a princely speed of 14.4 kbps, kilobytes per second, in terms of browsing the internet pages that existed. So from there to here, it's been a journey. I've been one of the torchbearers of digital marketing in India. When I started off in 1998, very few people knew the full form of what WWW stands for. And today it's a completely different ballgame altogether when it comes to India or anywhere else in the world. Started off as an online education business provider. I wanted to set up an online education business that I would get students and content creators and teachers to come in together and get them to learn from one another, get educated, score some brilliant marks, and move forward in life. Age 21, you start seeing big numbers, you start seeing some fancy evaluations, and you start thinking that you are God's gift to mankind. I wasn't any different. Age 21, when I started my education business, it was valued at a give or take close to about 20 to 22 odd million US dollars way back in 1998. Now, when you get greedy, what happens is that when you think you're God's gift to mankind, you start scouting and you start saying that, oh, is that so? If I'm getting 20, 22 here, can I get someone to give me 25? Right. So again, one of my learnings in life has been that you live your life forward and you understand it backward. Right. So in hindsight, we are all the wiser. We all understand life much better. We all can share experiences. So I learned it the hard way around that, whether you have the best of products available to you or you've done something phenomenal, it doesn't matter. Life is a great leveler. In 2020, the dot-com bubble burst happened. And the venture capitalist who had given me the $22 million of valuation and a term sheet went kaput, right? So they shut down their shop in India and they had to go back. And that was my first tryst with bankruptcy, so to say, where there was nothing there in the market. And we realized that the business that we were running was unsustainable. We couldn't take it up forward. Opportunity, is the mother of invention. Uh, uh, I got an opportunity to partner with an advertising agency, which essentially had their antecedents in UK itself. There used to be a group called the Aegis Group in UK, which got acquired by Dentsu in Japan, and then it became Dentsu Aegis Network. Now it is just called Dentsu. So Dentsu had a partner in India called the Percept Group, and I did a joint venture with them and started what is called as Web Percept, what was called as Web Percept. Ran that between 2000 and 2007. 2007, over differences of where I wanted to take the business and where the ad agency wanted to take their business, I kind of bought them out. I bought out their entire, equity that they held in my company, and I became an independent firm. So that company is called Ideate Labs. That's what I run today. Ideate Labs is arguably one of the largest independent digital marketing, digital first companies in India. We have a team strength of 300 plus people based out of India, Singapore, and the UAE. Now, with the help with Christian, we're trying to enter into the UK markets, where we're setting up our offices in London and trying to take things up forward. We're a network of about 11 companies all put together, multiple partners. Out of the 300 odd people that work with me, almost about 10% of the staff that we have are strategic stakeholders, owners, co-owners of the business. This has been their journey or their home for the last 7 to 8 years, just shy of a decade for some. For some, it's been their home for the last 15 years. They've been a part of the entire journey. We're growing this together. We, our biggest twist and the biggest learning from marketing and advertising has been that, the first thing that you need to do is to make sure that you are able to tell your story well, right? We are, all of us, in the era of storytelling. And if you can't tell your story, don't trust anyone else to do it for you, right? You're the best storyteller for your business because, you are the champion of your life. And if you can tell your story, right, you will have a place on this planet. That's what is the firm belief that we come from. One of our biggest, the name Ideate Labs comes from left brain, right brain thinking. So process of ideation as well as scientific thinking in anything that you do. So, in terms of storytelling, there's a theory that we follow. Any story that you want to tell, it should be done in what we call as the 140 to the power 4 magic grid. 140 to the power 4 magic grid essentially means you should be able to tell your narrative in 140 characters, which is your social media update or a tweet that you write, 140 words, right, which is a blog post that you may write, 140 seconds, which is a video that you may post, or 140 sentences, right, which is a landing page or a microsite that you may create. And therefore, when you're writing all of this content up together, when you're putting it up all together, it should be effective enough to tell your story. And that's where the purpose of your entire storytelling comes in, that anything that you write up out there has to build conversations. And what we do as a business is we help companies build conversations. That's what we do. Over the last 22 years, I would have helped produce, built anywhere upwards of 800 to 1,000 odd websites. I have helped and managed, created branding strategies for more than 250, 300 brands in India and the Middle East now, with Singapore being added in, and now UK. One of the things that we really learned was, how is it that you can be recession proof? So I have survived 3 bankruptcies in my life. Right. Number one, the first tryst with destiny there was the .com bubble burst in 2020. The second one came in the year 2008 when Lehman Brothers literally came by and played party poopers to all of us all across the world. Massive recession that ensued, and we all went downhill. That was a second tryst with destiny. Again, like I said, life is lived forward, understood in hindsight. 2006, I took a massive bet on pre-buying. I heard somebody speak about pre-buying inventory and buying loads of inventory at a very cheap cost. I did that in India way back in 2006, 2007. I was serving close to about 1 billion impressions a month on an ongoing basis. And, I had put money on the table. And when the party poopers, Lehman Brothers came by, that entire business evaporated overnight. So from £1 million in my bank account to £2 million in losses, I went overnight, right? And I would have been history. But at times, a lot of Indians in on the group, you'll hear this from a lot of Indians. We use a word, right, very famously in India called jugaad. Jugaad is the Indian word for innovation, right? Innovation with a lot of Indian masalas thrown into it. And we seldom quit, right? We don't know how to quit. Very, very bad losers, very bad quitters. Once we take up something, we love to carry that on until either it consumes us or we make it a success. That's what we are. That's what I do. Survived all of these with just one feeling, that no matter where I am at, I can go only upwards. I specialize in creating businesses without a dollar's investment, or, from your perspective, without a pound's investment. I have, out of my 11 businesses that exist, 6 of those businesses I have not invested a single pound, right? All of it has been on the basis of my networking and my ability to create a phenomenal proposition, take it to a client and sell it, right? I am a frontline salesman, as I keep saying, and anytime I'm short of cash, I need to invest into something new. I do not go to venture capitalists, or I do not go to investors. I go to clients. I think my clients are my biggest investors. And why would clients put in money on you? They will put in money on you if you are solving a problem for them. Problem solving is the most important aspect of business. That's what my learning and my background in mathematics or in finance teaches me, that for every issue that exists, for every problem that exists in this universe, there is a solution. And if you need to put your mind to it, your thought to it, you will get a solution out. Similarly, what we've done, and which is how we are entering UK, we've kind of evaluated that there are certain problems in the marketing and the MarTech space, right? And therefore, we've kind of launched a product called iCogs. Very happy to direct you to a site called iCogs.com. Stands for Cogs of Wheels, ICOGZ.com. I'll put that link into the chat window in a bit, which is essentially an initiative where we are consolidating the entire digital footprint for a brand under one umbrella, right? So we've integrated 100 plus APIs across Google, across Facebook, across WhatsApp, across Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, name it, right? And if you're working with your own website across a WordPress website, which I heard of, or you're doing it on a standalone, if it's an e-commerce site, on a Shopify, or on a Magento, name the platform. And I will have APIs that will be bought in. Essentially what the software does, and I'm very happy to do a demo for anyone or everyone in the group, a very quick one, maybe about a couple of minutes, depending on how much time Daryl is going to be kind enough to give me to do that demo. But the point is, yes, Daryl, I get that. So what we're going to do is, what we do in that business is we help people make intelligent decisions, right? We believe today we are in a world where there is phenomenal fragmentation of data that exists, right? Too many platforms, too many social channels, too many digital channels that exist. And each of these digital channels essentially has their own footprint, has their own reporting, has their own metrics. How do you consolidate all of this data into one meaningful dashboard and make business sense out of that? How do you transform information that you get from these digital tools into intelligence, right? We've created an AI tool which essentially helps you take GBs after GBs of data, convert that into meaningful, actionable insights to help your business grow, right? That is what we do as an organization today. For the first time in my life, I'm going out to raise funding. I've never raised funding, as I told you. All of it has been done organically. We've invested last 3 years of our profits into building this software, which is where it stands today. Until I met Christian and another friend of mine, Vicky, who helped me, meet up with Christian, I was very content with going the organic way and building everything one step at a time. But meeting up with Christian, meeting up with Vicky, I kind of realized that, you need momentum. And to get that momentum, And to move really fast, what you need is funding. So today I'm going out there raising funds. I've had some phenomenal venture cap meets. Christian has been very kind enough to get me a lot of sources of funding and match funding that he can do for us in the UK itself. So tons of stuff that is happening on that arena. And that's where I met Daryl and Vicky. And thank you for having me over. Right. So very short and sweet. That's what I do. I'm very happy to answer any questions. I teach a lot. So I teach at the Indian Institute of Management. There are about 10 of them. I teach at 3 of them. I teach at XLRI. I teach at JBIMS. These are all reputed, known management MBA schools and colleges here. 3 topics that I teach on. One is entrepreneurship. Second is digital marketing and the impact of digital marketing in the real world. And the third is your reputation management in the online world. Right. So I'm currently doing a PhD in brand management in the online world and the impact that the world of online has on a brand's future. How can you make or break a brand, using Twitter or LinkedIn for that matter? Right. So that's what my PhD subject is. And I'm trying to do that. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, I should be able to add that to my degree of academic achievement. Daryl, I hope that answered the question. And a little more than that, I guess.
I mean, that was brilliant. And I actually had to, I was scribbling away with notes from some of your key tips that I was putting out to summarize. And one page got so messy, I had to write it out again because there was so much you gave away. So thank you for that. Just to give a few examples for what I could draw out, and this isn't all of them, but I think I can hear and feel an investment over cost mindset, which is a really interesting topic for me, because I think probably every business that's been on the workshop with us today has experienced too many of their customers having a cost first and saving money attitude, and that's actually a big contribution to what's crippled economies actually. And I feel that, yes, we need to protect money when there's a recession and when times are tough, but I think you also have to be in it to win it, and there's a middle ground. So you've got to spend something to continue investing in growth, innovation, advice, mentoring, marketing, advertising, getting your brand out there to the perhaps smaller number of customers that are still out there that will pay, but they're not going to hear about you if you don't get yourself out there. And Amit, I'd love to hear your comments on this perspective, because I can hear you've had that mindset throughout your career, and that's been a key thing that's helped you get back from those hard times you've endured as well.
So I'll give you a very quick and a very recent example, right? And I'll do it both ways. I'll do it from my perspective as well as what I've been able to do with a few clients and a few brands that I work with. All right. So let me start with my perspective first. So when COVID hit, right, it caught all of us unawares, right? There isn't a rule book to react to a pandemic, right? Nobody's got a rule book which tells you how is it that you run your business and what is it that you do when you've got jobs at stake. There's no cash flow flowing in. There's GDP decline that is happening. Businesses are shutting down, and there is negativity all across. The first thing that we did in the month of March when India was shutting down, and just prior to that is when Christian had gone back from India during his trip to India, and which is when I'd met him. Our plans were to do this somewhere in the month of April or May. The only reason why this got deferred is because of COVID. Now, in COVID, one important decision that we took is, when you have 300 people employed working for you and their livelihood, dependent on you, one of the easiest things to do for a business is to say, okay, COVID, unfortunate, pandemic, unfortunate, I have to survive. I've got to keep my head over waters. What do I do? Right? The easiest way out would have been to say, okay, hand over pink slips to about 50% of them, right? And get them to move on and continue. But let me tell you, this was my third tryst with my bankruptcy. But yet, at the expense of getting bankrupt, I took a decision that not one employee in the organization lost their job. We did not terminate even one person. Each of the people that we had, we gave them an assurance that your jobs are secure. You're not going to go out. We dipped into all our profits over the last 3 years, and we, blew all of it off, right? We were very clear that, our calculation was 6 months, but now from what we see, it's going to take about a year or two for the real growth to come back to the original levels. But I'll tell you what that did for us, right? And this is how, karma is there for you to, dip into whenever you want to. So when we said this, that nobody is going to lose their job, you will be surprised to find that we got support from within our team from unexpected quarters. We have, in the last 6 months of existence, doubled our business volume, right? We have doubled our retainers. Our clients, which were, defaulting on payments, have started paying up. There are clients, I wouldn't want to name them on this call because I know you're going to put this video up online someday. And because you're going to do that, I'm not going to name my clients. But there have been clients, who stopped our retainers in the month of March, right? So when, for an agency, and there are multiple agency players here, you will recognize that when the retainers stop, that's when it pinches you, right? So what we did is we went back to all the clients, telling them that fair enough, you're stopping the retainers because of COVID, no problem. Only 2 questions to ask you. Question 1, do you like us or do you not like us and the work that we do? All of the clients, all 6 clients said, we love working with you. So we said, all right, no problem. The next question is, we will manage your digital footprint and social media for the next 6 months at no cost. We won't bill you, no retainers, right? And allow us to just make sure that all the hard work that we've put in, let us continue that business up forward. Daryl, today, all of those clients are back to their paying days. They've paid for, all of the period that we spoke of, where we had given them free services. They've paid for it retrospective. And today, all the businesses, yes, are we out of the woods? We're not yet out of the woods. But it was just that one decision to say, do I want to close shop? Do I want to just go back, take 2 steps back and reassess what I want to do in life? Or just to say, to hell with it, I'm going to stick it out, fight it out, and make sure that this converts into an opportunity. So we are raising our funding in the period of COVID for a new product line. We've doubled our business in Ideate Labs, which is the agency practice, in this period of time. We've actually bought on board. We've increased our employee base by almost 15 to 20% in the last 6 months. We have also additionally bought on board newer brands and newer clients that we are working with, all of it at one place, right? And that's what positive thinking does for you. And when I say positive thinking, the mindset that one needs to follow is that are you building a balance sheet, or are you looking at a profit and loss statement? For me, all my life, I've always believed that you should be looking at the balance sheet and not at the profit and loss always. Of course, profit and loss is important, right? But you cannot compromise your balance sheet for profit and loss. Your balance sheet is what builds your wealth. And today, wealth comes from essentially the kind of team that I've been able to set up, and we are driving.
Yeah, fantastic share again, Amit. And there's some great comments in the chat here as well, from Dave, for instance. Awesome example of values. Brilliant. A few other things I'll just highlight. In your earlier introduction, Amit, you very much shared about your approach to building teams and working in partnership externally, the way that you're sharing success, reward and future opportunity across your partnerships, across your staff, giving them opportunities to be part of your equity team. I'm a big endorser of that as a people first approach, and sharing success. You've shared a number of great examples for continuous improvement, positive attitude. It just kind of spills out from you, which again I think is a no question a key way of to illustrate your successes, and the successes you've had there with your customers through these difficult times. Incredible. Everyone has won from that, Your staff still have jobs. You've given more people jobs. You've fed more families. You've helped keep your customers going and growing through a recession. You know, it's incredible. And you know, I really strongly encourage all of us to try and take some action away from today of how we can do more of that kind of stuff. You know, to be aspirational and even more successful in the future by learning from Amit here. I have one other question I wanted to ask you, Amit, before I share the stage for others to ask their questions. And it's, I guess it's a bit about your thoughts around international. So the word international in terms of growth and opportunity for me at the moment, one positive from COVID is I've seen for many companies, it's actually opened people up a lot more to working with companies from all around the world. You know, we're in this virtual remote world. We're having to, more often we're being forced to operate through a video conferencing. And I can only see positive in that. Perhaps this is an opportunity to bring Christian as well, who I know has some experience of international growth. Perhaps for either of you to share 2 or 3 top tips on your thoughts for how a company can successfully expand internationally.
When you're doing something international, right? And I cannot emphasize enough the strength of this word called discipline, right? If you have a proper focused discipline on what you're doing at the core, you settle your core, and anything that you want to do, you want to diversify, you want to, you know, relocate and shift base. You know, I'll give you a very simple and a crude example. In India, all of us are not used to working from home. Work from home as a culture does not exist, or rather, I must say, it's the past. It did not exist, right? As of March, this entire country, when we went into lockdown, we were like babes in the woods, right? We had no clue of how we are, as an overall country, going to survive with, you know, work from home. Today, I can tell you, as a company at our end, we have already announced that up until December 2020, we're all going to be working from home. You know, if the COVID situation does not improve, which fortunately looks like in India it's on the decline, hopefully we'll see some good results and good news. But even after we resume work, or, you know, we go back to normalcy, we are very seriously contemplating work from home for about 50% of our staff, right? And we've kind of found out that because of our tools, because of our discipline, we were a lot more productive. Because now people in India, you know, if some of you are from India, a lot of you may not have ever visited India. I recommend you should. It's a madhouse, you know, 1.4 billion people on the road. Now, when you want to travel in a city like Mumbai, which is where I am right now, you know, to go from the northern tip to the southern tip of the city, it takes you at times 2 to 2.5 hours. So in India, we don't measure distances by miles or by kilometers. We measure that in time. So if somebody tells you, you know, you are at place X, you have to get to, you know, point Y. How much, you know, what do you think is the distance? We measure distance in time. We'd rather come back and tell you that it's not, we'll not tell you it's 5 kilometers, right? That Google Maps can do for you. We will tell you it's going to be, you know, 45 minutes of a drive time. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, with this work from home, I'm able to save at least 1.5 to 2 hours of my team's travel time on a daily basis. Now, imagine what you could do with the 2 hours. Even if that means you're just catching up on sleep, right? Or you're playing up with your pet, you've got children, you're managing your children, you've got family, you're managing your family, but that 2 hours worth, you know, it's value in gold. Now, that is a new culture that we've kind of, you know, been exposed to. We've been hesitant, we've been resistant to kind of take it, but now we've seen that. As an organization today, I'm very proud to say that we've kind of adapted to it in the last 6 months. And believe you me, 6 months ago, if somebody would have told me, why don't you start work from home? I would have thrown a fit because I didn't think it was possible, right? And today, it's a reality. It's the new normal, as you may say, right? So when you're looking at scaling, you know, internationally, one thing that you need to recognize is that you're not going to be physically present everywhere. You won't be, right? And which is where you need partners, which is where you need processes, which is where you need structures, which is where you need what I call as discipline, right? That discipline is what helps, see through the day. And because we had that in India, in our teams, we were able to survive this, manage in the work from home situation. And now today, I'm a lot more confident with my expansion internationally, right? That even if I am not in UK myself, and I have partners, right, who are going to be there doing it for me, I will be able to manage it because my back end and my discipline is absolutely there, right? That is my 2 bits.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amit.